So you're here because your run defense is struggling. Well, don't worry, because what I've got will cure what ails you. We're gonna be talking about the 3-3-5 stack defense in College Football 25. I think this is certifiably and undeniably the best all-around defense in the game. In fact, I just dropped my defensive game plan out of this in totality on my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. This is the best blitzing formation in the game, and you're gonna see today absolutely free that this is the best run stopping formation in the game as well. I've got everything you need in addition to what you get right here on the YouTube channel on the website. Make sure you guys go check it out. Far and away, the best way to get stops in the game is the 3-3-5 stack. Now, a little bit of background on this defense. This is notoriously viewed as a defense that is a very easy install as you kind of just allow your players to play with freedom. This 3-3 stack alignment is going to keep your linebackers clean to flow to the football. You also kind of keep two slot safety type players that can play force. This is a spill and kill style run defense, which is a very different style of run defense than what we're used to in most football games, which is more about setting the edge. The spill and kill style of defense of a 3-3 stack allows you to really force everything to the outside. In other words, the gap shoots in this formation are so easy to execute, whether it's an under center run, a stretch type run, a power O, a counter, or you want to go into the shotgun and talk about inside zone, outside zone, base type runs. This defensive front is just set up to stop the run with little to no effort. Now, for those that want to know what teams utilize the 3-3-5 stack, there are about 30, give or take, in the game, but I'm going to give you guys a few of the better teams for those of you that play the Road to the College Football Playoffs mode, where they make you use the stock playbooks for those teams. And those teams are Air Force, if you want to run the triple option, although I do think that one might be bugged. Colorado, if you guys want to use Dion. Florida, Iowa State, Kansas State, NC State, TCU, South Carolina, who has a 99 speed receiver and a very fun offense. That's probably one of the best teams to use this with, and Wisconsin. Now, that's not every single team that runs this. It's just some of the highlights. You guys can go through. I'm actually going to include an entire list below in the comments section. I'll pin it for those of you that want to know what teams to use. But for those of you that are playing the College Ultimate Team mode, this is going to be great because you guys are going to be able to kind of choose your playbook. You want to make sure that you are choosing the 3-3-5 defense, not to be confused with the 3-3-5 tight. Those are two completely different defenses, okay? So make sure you guys do not choose 3-3-5 tight, as it does not have the formation we're talking about. You want to be in the 3-3-5 playbook. Now make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the channel, as I'm breaking down content every single day, Monday through Friday in the morning, with our long form uploads and shorts in the afternoon. Drop a comment below to help push this video out in the algorithm. I worked really hard on this defense, and hopefully this can help you out for free to get you those stops and force them into the passing scenarios. And if you guys want the pass coverage and the blitz setups, those are over on Gridiron Game Plans. So let's start off with something super heavy. We know running the ball is really effective in this game. You guys have seen the ball carrier moves and how good the blocking is, but I'm going to show you right away that the 3-3-5 stack is such a good run defense. We're going to take a little bit of time to kind of explain the rules of this defense. Now, as I mentioned, this is a spill and kill style of defense. With what a lot of coaches teach, they talk about an umbrella, and that umbrella basically wraps around the 6 players that are in the box. So the 6 players that are the 3 D linemen and the 3 linebackers, those are spill players. In other words, if you take a look at the run fits with this particular defense, they are responsible for really making sure that the interior gaps, whether you're going to the left or right, are taken away, and that everything is funneled to the outside in this defense. Meanwhile, you have 2 slot, what are actually called safeties. These players, for some coaches, they'll call this actually a 3-5-3 defense. They utilize their slot safeties more like linebackers, so they'll call it like a 35 defense. But these players are basically your force defenders. They're the ones that need to make sure everything stays inside. So the spill players are funneling the run outside to the force players. It's a very aggressive defense that attacks very, very well. So when you take a look at how this behaves here, when we get into some of these runs, all I really like to do is just a base run defense with this is show blitz. And what showing blitz does is just kind of makes those linebackers take a step closer to the line. Now, what I do is I like to protect my inside linebacker. Our front 3 in this defense does a good job of getting upfield penetration.
Well, delivery's all wrong, butchering it. That's what she said.
Into their gaps, but their job is also to try to keep those linebackers clean. We're not rocking with a 7-man box like you would in a 3-4 or 4-3. So it's imperative that these guys do their jobs and keep those linebackers clean so they can flow to the football, okay? So what we're gonna do here with this is my typical gap shoot with most runs, especially these heavy 2 tight end, a fullback type runs, is I know that I've got basically these extra outside linebackers that are more so inside fill players. They're going to help me out in those B gap areas. So I know that I've got a lot of freedom with these 3 guys up front and then also these 2 guys to my sides, kind of helping me out. So this frees me as a user to be really aggressive. And a lot of times they're going to run the ball to strength. So if they're running a stretch, my goal is to kind of come down here, play downhill, and take away. Basically, my aim is to the outside, either to the outside hip of the end on this side or the outside hip of the end on this side. Now, of course, the lanes are not necessarily going to be the same once the ball snapped. In a gap here, once the actual run scheme and everybody starts to zone block, that gap might move over a gap. So really what we're doing is we're trying to make sure that we stay in our assignment and do our job. So when this ball snapped, I'm playing downhill and filling my gap. So this is kind of, I'm trying to spill the run outside by doing my job and playing downhill into these gaps. So a lot of times with these runs, I really am just literally flying down, being aggressive, and you see that it's very hard for them to get to me. And I talked about the role of these 3 defensive linemen. We have a nose tackle controlling the center. That makes that guard have to double team. So if they want to cut back, look at that fill linebacker on the backside, that inside linebacker taking away the weak side gap. Meanwhile, I'm doing a really good job of playing the front side A, but also being able to shoot the B gap here. And you see that they're really not able to make this work. If they do want to run this into the A gap, you see that my nose tackle is getting off the block. So that's a lane that's squeezed down. We've got the force defender role, that safety taking on the tight end, setting the edge, and everyone else is filling their lanes appropriately. So you see right here, this is a pretty easy thing to do. Now, again here with this, let's say that we don't know which way they're running. Chances are they're gonna run to their strength, which is the right with that extra blocker in the form of a receiver, but they might go left. And that's okay as well, because if we read this wrong, our role is just to basically fill the same way. And you see how that safety on the left, he forces everything back to the inside. This is one of the key features of the 3-3-5 defense is, man, I'll tell you, these safeties do a really good job of not getting blocked. They do a good job of hopping around blocks, avoiding things, keeping everything funneled inside, where the 6 guys on the inside are able to really fill their gaps and do a good job. So you see right here, this is a great little heavy run defense. Let's go ahead and make this even a little bit tougher. We're gonna go to an I-form wing alignment. So instead of a receiver out wide, we now have a second tight end. I wanna show you that this really doesn't change our role too much here in this regard. I'm kind of aiming, you know, where the defensive end on the right is currently, that's kind of where I'm trying to fill towards on a run to the right. So I'm coming downhill, and you see that I'm able to just make this play in the gap. Now, of course, the faster your player is, the better. You know, you're always going to be able to shoot a gap a little bit more feasibly with a quicker linebacker. So prioritize things like speed and acceleration for this. The other thing that I would recommend is probably taking a step back just a little bit. So it allows you to really fly untargeted through the lanes. So again, they snap this ball. I'm coming downhill. Look at how I fill on this. And, you know, this run ends up being cut back because we didn't get a shed, but it wasn't death to the outside. And that's what you notice in so many other defenses in this game is they just give up the off tackle stuff so incredibly easily. So this does a pretty good job at stopping your heavy run sets, even if they want to go into like an under center alignment and try to run the ball inside or outside, they're going to really struggle with this. So let's, for instance, show you like a jet sweep. You're going to notice that's pretty much the same defense here. So we show blitz and all of a sudden we see horizontal motion. Oh, this could be a handoff. Well, what am I doing? I'm flying down here, doing my job. No one blocks the purple zone, that force defender. He's able to make the play on the perimeter. So even when we get picked up, look at how our other force defender was able to basically do a good job. I mean, you see right here, this is our outside third, but you see our force defender right here, basically set that edge. He was unblocked. We're in a good spot here. Believe it or not, this gap shoot works against jet touch pass as well. So let's go ahead and head into the shotgun here and explain how to stop inside zone, starting off first and foremost with maybe like a doubles type look. So with the doubles type look, let's go ahead and run like an inside zone here. And again, we don't really have to do too much. This is kind of just our same setup. A little show blitz. I'm going to kind of stand with my middle linebacker and look how easy this gap shoot is. Ball is snapped. Look at this A gap open up. I was able to make this. Now the computer made me look foolish right there, but that's a kill shot against a human user in an online game. I'll show that to you again. Again, all we're kind of doing here is backing up. We know that an inside zone's going left, so I'm going to just kind of stand a little bit over towards that left A gap. Ball snapped. Look at that hole open up, and I can just fly down. Now again, the user is not going to avoid this tackle. They're going to run right into a hit stick. You're going to be just fine with this. So again, I'm just showing blitz. You could crash the defensive line down if you want. Ball snapped, fly into this A gap. Right here, I'll just make a conservative tackle instead of going for the kill. You see right there, it's an easy gap shoot. These lanes are absolutely huge. And the best part is I'm not actually run blitzing here. You don't have to run blitz to stop this. Now let's go ahead and make this a little bit more girthy.
Oh, SOS, locate DJL.
That's what he says?
Damn it.
So you're thinking, okay, I mean, they've got 5 linemen, 2 tight ends. We've got a 6-man box, but keep in mind that those safeties are still involved here. So this is still going to be an absolutely fine defense as it pertains, you know, trying to stop this run. So again, all I'm really doing is just crashing my defensive line down here. And then when this ball snapped, look at these A gaps open up, and look at, if they want to block me, that leaves actually 2 players unblocked towards the left side. So you would think, oh man, this is looking good. You know, we took the user out of the play, but look what that did. It left our force defender and one of our other field defenders unblocked, and this is going nowhere. So again, this is certifiably the best run defense in the game, and I've done everything out of cover 3 here, just gap shoots and gap integrity. I'm gonna leave that there though. I think that this is gonna get you really well started towards playing better defense in college football 25. This is how I play run defense in this game. It's done a really good job at stopping inside zones, outside zones, under center type runs, powers. If you guys are struggling with it, again, I do have a game plan over on Gridiron for you guys. Check the link in the description. I've got membership tiers for people of all interest levels, whether you're month to month before Madden comes out or locked all the way in on this game. You guys are gonna play the best defense you played so far. That I assure you. Go check it out. I'll see you guys later this afternoon. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab in. Good luck.